Okay, it is actually the next day now. It's Sunday, the last day of the show and sale, which means we're seeing what is left over in terms of the sale. I completely ran out of time yesterday to even turn my camera on for this part. So here we are, we're back. This is the Arid Adaptations stand. We've seen Jeff's plants at the DBG plant sales. If you remember when we look at the, I actually have a stick with me, at the labels here, they say Arid Adaptations. Well, this is where those plants come from. Well, I mean, we're seeing some of his plants. It's got everything from mellow cactus to Acanthocalicium. Is this glaucum? This is $40. Some chunky aerial carpus. These are $125. Some smaller aerial carpus. These are $40. Sorry, I know you can't see prices on these, but we're really running out of time. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, these are, I think, 80. Variegated Ferocactus. These are 80. Oh, this is 80. Beautiful. You can kind of see there's a lot of vendors here, so I don't know if we're going to cover everything. I see a familiar face there. There's Veronika. Veronika, do you want to be on video? This is my very fancy microphone that I put together.
Brush my face a little.
Look, it's.
Can I apply makeup with it? Thank you.
This is our friend AZVeronikaMakes, which is Veronika Countryman. You can see in the back. We've seen your pottery show up in my videos so many times.
Yeah.
So put a face to the name. This is Veronika.
That's what I do.
So Veronika has a lot of beautiful pots at the sale right now that she's got up for sale. Oh,
Three-dimensional.
This one? This is actually a very nice sampling of your many, many different styles of pottery. So you've picked up that one already. Is that one of your favorites?
These are some of the favorite ones I've been doing lately. I call them dinosaur pots.
I can see
You can
why.
see, right?
Very cool glazing.
that,
Any
right.
other favorites here?
Well, I've enjoyed making these because they are, they reminded me a lot of Papago Park in Phoenix, if you've ever been there, where they are, those mountains are constructed of mud, which has a bunch of rocks embedded in it. So it kind of looks like cookie dough, but it can also look like Papago Park if you've been there.
That will go with pretty much everything. I mean, it's a wonderful like earth color.
Right.
And
And I've just really enjoyed the colors.
Oh yeah, those are really fun.
Fun colors.
That's very fun.
So, yeah.
Ah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, so Veronika is a member of the CACSS.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see her at the monthly meetings. You can come and say hi. So
And I try to grow things.
yes. Veronika has a very active Instagram account, I would say. So yeah, definitely check her out. Yeah, thanks so much for chatting with us. Thanks, Veronika. Okay, here is Peter W.'s table. which we can see the very, very familiar square pots, round pots, and that decomposed granite top dressing, and lots of euphorbia. We'll have to see if we can catch him later.
Larger flowers are pink. Okay. They flower summer fall.
Some price sampling. Looks like these, I think these are 4 or 5 inch square pots are $40. This is probably 4-inch square pot. This is $15. The big ones in the back, which are probably 2 or 3 gallons, are $150. Looks like some caduciforms. I do see some variation in the prices based on the pot. I think it just depends on what the plant is. Like over here, these are $60. These are $30, which I think is the same price as it was years ago. It's kind of incredible. Micracantha, just so pretty. I'm still really not entirely sure how to structure this video. I think this is more to give you an idea of what you can find at these plant sales, and maybe, I know there will be another show next year, and most likely a full-size sale as well, because it will be in March, just like this year. So this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect at a future sale if you happen to be in the Phoenix area. See, we saw this at the DBG plant sale. Oh my gosh, look at that. Some flower.
They're evergreen. They don't lose their leaves in winter.
No, and you don't have to bring them into the
This is covered in seed pods.
Well, I should have known that before I bought them.
Euphorbia Medusa hybrid, $30.
And I don't know what ones you have, but Abisa will lose all its
So he's got Adenium as well.
Yeah, I just, I couldn't.
I've got to remember if I have that one or not. It's just that what
You probably don't have this one because it's
It's Greg Starr over there.
Yeah, she just the whole.
You were just mentioning about your soil mix a moment ago.
Yes. I use a 60% perlite. I recommend if you live in a wet environment or humid environment or cool environment that use pumice or a mix of pumice.
Okay.
But because people here, this hot climate here in Phoenix and where I live in Ramona, it's very hot and dry, so I recommend perlite. Perlite holds more water than pumice.
I see.
So it depends on your environment what one's going to work the best.
Okay.
60% is what I use on that part of it.
Okay.
Then I use 20% compost
Okay.
and 20% soil.
Okay.
And it's mixed. I put water to it and I mix it till it's wet enough so that the pumice or perlite is no longer white.
Okay.
So when you get it wet enough, the pumice and perlite, everything will stick to it, and will open up the soil part in between, so you have more air spaces.
Okay, I think because I always repot stuff into moist soil, and that came from probably Hunter's video with you.
You're right.
So everybody, this is where it comes from.
Then wait 1 week after you transplant. That's the other key.
Of watering?
Do not water.
Yeah, exactly.
And then before you water, put the gravel on the surface.
Okay.
And that keeps your soil fast.
Okay, because I remember you said damp soil when transplanting, and then wait until you.
Or you water the day before.
Yeah.
You don't need to water it.
Yeah, that came from Peter.
That allows time for the roots to heal and start to grow again. The moist soil encourages new root growth.
Right.
But if you water it, the soil and the plant becomes connected. If you just plant it in moist soil, there's no connection here. And the connection is where the fungus and bacteria can get in and cause the infection and cause the rot.
Gotcha.
And then that's when you lose the plants about 2 weeks later.
Gotcha. Yes.
If
that's if you water right. If you water right away.
Right.
And then you have a very signature in all of your pots here. They have is it decomposed granite that is the top dressing?
Yes.
Okay. Because I go through the DBG sales and I'm like, I think this is Peter W. I think this is Peter W. So very signature. Well, thanks, Peter. Safe travels back to California.
Yeah, I have to go out and move my van now.
Okay, for sure. This is Starr Nursery by Greg Starr in Tucson. Beautiful.
Prickocereus.
I like to threw it out last Saturday.
Our system is these are like pirate ships. Do you get money right there? When they auction? Yeah.
This is CoronaCactus Nursery.
From the food poisoning.
Yeah. Thanks for your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I follow the weather line. I even follow, how the weather comes out here too, because I do come out here. So my brothers live out there. So I follow the weather out here. And I hear about how bad the summer was last summer. No, and that's that's one of those added things that adds fuel to the problem.
There's a lot of Copiapoa.
Summer's probably not going to be that good either. I mean, our snowpack's terrible, so all that's not good.
Well, I'm directly west of you, so if I'm not getting rain, you guys aren't either. Then I'm also on the edge of the monsoon too, so I can see it. So if I get influenced or I actually do get the rain from it, it means you guys are doing well too. So if I don't see any rain, I just see a few fuzzy clouds and that's it.
So y'all heard me blab my head off in the show. You get a break from me talking nonstop at the sale. There's some Copiapoa back here. Coquimbana, Desertorum.
My card? I'm going to borrow more. You guys follow me on Instagram? You seem to do very well. That's huge. That's the biggest one I've ever seen in my life.
Polygona snowflake. These are 18.
I saw it. It looked clean.
No
way.
I'm thinking of the ones that I haven't. Which ones would I want to put in?
Copiapoa tatalensis. It's 85. Cahumilis. So Montana,
I still have more.
I think, it's 200. Calderana, 65. Oh, that makes me a little tempted. Some lizard skin, 18. Barcatensis, 15. Whoa, this is a hypogea, probably Barcatensis, 150. That's beautiful. Ariosis tautolensis 15. I feel like we saw something like this at the DBG spring plant sale. That's very attractive, especially with those hairs. What's this Dura? It's $300. Tenuissima. The camera overheated, so let's see how long it will last before it overheats again. I don't have a freezer to throw my camera in this time. We might have to move a little bit faster because we're running out of time. We may have to just do like far pans. This is probably as far as we could do. Oh, this is the cross I want to do. Obesa times snowflake. Oh, so that's what they'll look like. That makes me really tempted. The Calderana is $200, but it's too much risk now keeping Copiapoa. I don't know. 200. I'm just gonna have to grow my Limbeckis. Try to get to that size in what, 30 years? We are with Thea Parker, and you might have seen her name show up on a number of specimens in the show. And so you make pottery.
I do, yes.
Some beautiful pottery. So how long have you been making pottery?
Surprisingly not long at all, about a year and a half.
Okay. I see a lot of, you've only been doing this for a year and a half?
Yes.
I see everything from what looks like wheel thrown to hand built,
Yes.
all mixed together, and all sorts of different types of glazing. And you've got some of that rock pot. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
What do you think is, I really like that glaze, this one.
Yes.
That is really gorgeous. Is there anything here that you would like to highlight that you're like, this is my thing lately?
Oh my gosh, they are gone.
Oh, wow.
I love the slab work that I've been doing, some origami type. This one is just a spiral, but I do have some pots that had sold that were folded like origami and very angular, very modern looking, very different, which is why they sold.
Yeah, that's something I don't think I've seen before.
Yeah.
Do you sell on Instagram? Like if folks are interested by any chance?
That is in the future, yes.
Okay. Are you okay with them reaching out to you at this point?
I guess feel free to reach out and I can give a timeline, do commissions, or you can just let me create and see what happens.
Awesome. So at the very least, follow Thea on Instagram. I will put all the information in the description below. Of course, you're a member of the CACSS.
I am,
How long have you been a member?
About 3 years.
Love it. Really love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Thea.
Thank you.
For those of you on Palm Street, you're going to recognize LASucculents. This is Cal's tables. He's got some really cool plants here. Oh, and the prices are very clear, so I don't even have to read it. Oh, man. It's a Wowitcha. We saw one of those inside the show. Ooh, Crucigira. Or is it Crucigira?
No. They're like, it's like an epic thing. So what's going on?
See, there's a couple of Dorstenia gigas. We saw some big ones or bigger ones in the show.
Rotted away at the base of the trunk and then have fallen.
Look at that beautiful beauty. That is the most beautiful, perfect Obergonia. So if you buy that plant this year, you can show it at next year's show. Variegated Prickocereus. Hakanoi. So this is a crested Gymnocalycium baldianum. That is so interesting. Look how it's kind of growing out the center there. Stinkies. He's got pictures of the flowers with each pot. That's actually really cool. So you can have an idea of what to expect. Oh, booby cactus. Whoa, that's really interesting, that sense of area. Jerez de la Rosa. Obisa. Dalea. Some mellows in the back. Kind of fight them. This is always a really interesting plant. Phat Plants. Whoa. We are at Spines.n.clay. Oh, look at that. Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
You were saying that at the beginning of the show, you couldn't even see the tablecloth, which is how much inventory you had.
Yeah, you can see we have 4 tables here. We've condensed it to 3, and it's pretty sparse even with the 3. So yeah, it's been very successful. Very successful.
This is amazing.
So yeah, we're really appreciative. This has been a very, it's our
amazing.
biggest show I think in Arizona. So we were lucky to be invited and grateful for the support, the members and everybody that came out gave us. So it's been wonderful.
I think I have at least 2 pots in there of specimens that are in your pottery.
Yes,
so
congrats to you.
This is something I haven't. I think I've seen it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it in person. This is so beautiful.
Yeah,
that
been
color.
A popular one for me. I just call it the artifact series because when you first look at it, it almost looks like something that was dug up and, you know, some ancient ruin or something.
Yeah.
Was the effect I was going for.
That color.
It's been very popular.
Oh, that's a skull? Is that a skull?
Yeah, it's a skull on a tripod.
On feet, yeah. That's something I don't think I've seen before.
I haven't done many of these. I was doing them back for Halloween, and I made an extra, and I kind of put it on the shelf for the show. So that's been.
Okay. Oh, I like this as well. And this one is when you see the dimples.
Well, the dimple,
and the glaze,
I think
you
I
just know
started out the dimple trend back in 2020. And this is really the style that kicked me off social media wise.
Oh, I think I have something like this. Goes well with everything.
Yep.
It looks so good. I love all these with the feet ones. Like you've got a number of those where the feet are incorporated into the pot at the end.
The way I build these is that these feet are solid clay, so when you feel them, they're bottom heavy and they're very stable. Because you know when they're taller, there's a risk to being knocked over and tipped over, blown over on your patio or whatever.
Especially here, right, with the monsoons and stuff.
I try to be mindful, make them bottom heavy and more stable.
Oh, there's another one that you said. What was the series again? Artifact series, yeah. This is also very much I like that glaze.
Yep.
When I see that, I think Bill.
That's one that I've been formulating over the years and really dialing into that final point. It's really hard to get those really deep burgundy reds. So I've spent a lot of intentional effort trying to get that color. Really proud of it.
Incredible.
But sorry, I don't have much left to show you.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I know that's what happened. I'm like, oh, I'm going to the sale on the last day. I knew it, but what can you do, you know?
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Bill. It's always great to chat with you.
Yeah, I
to see you at these events.
I get a lot of people that say they discovered me from your videos.
Oh, that's so nice. That is
amazing
really nice.
videos, and you have a great following of people that are experts and also learning from you, which I appreciate.
Thank you to the audience. Everybody who's watching, that credit all goes to you. So thank you to all my viewers.
You're too humble.
No, for real. Without them, there is no Cookies Cacti. For real. Well, thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of agave here. Agave spawn. Lots of mangave. I like how there's pictures with ID, so it's really easy for folks to know what they're looking at. This is great. Oh yeah, we saw these at the spring plant sale at Praying Hands. Agaves are a cross between genus Manfreda and agave. Oh, they got some astrophytum here. That's really pretty. It's a gasteria. This is assorted aloe hybrids. So cute. Oh, that's pretty. 125. Beautiful Opuntia.
Oh yeah, I know. So she'll be back next year. We'll see you. Thank you, guys.
See, what I don't like is
This is Blue Sky Plants.
How about I trade you another one for it? How about I trade you another one?
I'll look at it. I've just been ignoring it for years. I'll look at it again. And now that I know it might be a vendor, I should have cut it years ago.
Yeah, I was very surprised that I just had a couple gaps. Wow.
Ooh.
Almost brought in the no, yeah. We didn't do a time for it. No one can recognize it.
Sometimes it goes that way.
Nice graphs.
When are you most likely to
I'm really flexible most of the time. Like I'm probably going to be available.
Like yesterday.
This is pretty prickly. That's really cute. So cute. That's really interesting. Pachypodium, Boojum. Oh, that's a beautiful one. Baby Boojum. Lots of adenium here, all sorts of adenium. This is Phat Plants.
Hi.
Hello. Good, how are you?
That's a high-tech mic.
Very high-tech
Is that your boom
microphone.
mic?
Yeah. It's Xananda Arts. I have followed you on Instagram for many years, and this might be I think this is the first time that we're meeting in person. And you can see he's got gorgeous pottery.
Well, thank you.
So you're based out of California?
Ventura, California. I
Ventura,
have
California.
a pottery studio that I built. It's my life dream. I planned it and about 8 years ago. I was able to. I designed my whole house around it. I ran a gas line 180 feet underground, and I just got a brand new big gas kiln. I have 2 big gas kilns now, and
oh my gosh! And how long have you been making pottery?
over 30 years.
Oh my! Oh my gosh!
It's the most spectacular medium. You can make whatever your mind thinks of, and you can change your styles, and whatever you think of, you can just create with your hands, and it's the best medium.
In the 30 years that you've been making, have you found your style to just keep evolving with time?
What I find is over time, I get bored very quickly, so I go through different types of times in pottery. I did functional for a long time. I did nothing but porcelain vases for 5 years. I did glaze calculations. And then you start learning all these different techniques, and you can put them together. And then you can start morphing and growing on all those different things you learn. So you're always evolving.
This is not your full-time.
It's not my full-time job.
It's just your passion and everything on the side.
It's a little more than just a hobby.
Yeah, because if you built your house around the studio, that says a lot. Yes.
I have my studio is so extensive. I have over 250 glazes, and I have 2 big gas kilns, and I have clay mixers and spray booths and pug mills, and I make my own clay, and I do all the whole.
You make your own clay?
I do, yeah. So you can always evolve and keep moving and coming up with new textures and new.
Never ending.
It's never ending.
Never ending.
No, it's a lot of fun.
I'm here on the last day of the sale, and I know that your pottery has been very popular. Of what you have left here, do you have anything you'd like to highlight, or something that kind of encapsulates your?
This is kind of the more artistic piece that I've been working on.
Yeah.
This is like a hollowed out a tree pot. It's more sculptural. About 100 pounds of clay initially went into this, and so yeah, this is kind of the showpiece that I brought. Not expecting to sell it because I want to keep this one, but if somebody wants to pay what I'm asking, they can have it. This is my other kind of signature style.
I see.
I call this epiphany pots. I had this epiphany on how to make them. I finally pursued it. So you'll see different renditions of this with different clays.
Yeah.
Different clays do different textures of this. This is kind of
that's incredible.
I'm loving this because it has so many different textures and different colors, different glazes on it. You can do different washes. You can do different clay bodies. So really, that's kind of what I have lots of different designs. I'm really into these rock pots.
I see.
Yeah, these are like
yeah, it's a very natural design.
I love natural rock for plants. I have a huge plant collection, and I think that rock pots really are really conducive to really fabulous staging.
Well, this kind of, it just goes with everything, right? There's nothing that, everything would look amazing and because it looks so natural.
Fire, water, earth, it's got everything that is like creation. So doing pottery is like a creation of what we live in.
Very interesting way to express that.
Yeah, it's
I've never thought of it that way.
I have a very stressful jobs at time. I'm a project manager, and so after work I'll go and I'll make this, and it's like
takes it all away.
As soon as you touch clay, it's like everything's good again.
I see.
There's this clay time where time kind of doesn't exist. I just got lost in this. I spent all day working on this, and then there's other things where it's more hypnotic, where I'm on the wheel, because I do both. I do hand building, and then I do wheel.
So this is an example
of
a
wheel. This is a wheel.
Okay,
This is something I've been working on. We're working on these, I call them beer pots, for about 10 years. And this is more of a mechanical, perfectly centered, but then once it gets to a certain point, I put the texture on, I can't touch the outside. And then, so I've learned how to make these over time.
Yeah.
There's something with the yin and yang, the perfect round with the texture, or the
or something like,
And I like doing a little bit of everything, because that way everybody likes something different. And so I try, and I like a lot of different things. I love glaze, and I love raw clay, I love texture, and so I just do it all.
Everything.
And everybody has likes something different, and I have a little bit for everything.
Let me go to the other side. Because I see you've got like some bright glazes, you've got some natural glazes, even stuff that looks like it doesn't have anything on it. Like, is this one raw? The one that's
raw clay,
This is raw.
Yeah. It's all different. This is what I call oxblood red, which is China figured out how to do this about 2,000 years ago. It's like, I think it's the best color, the red.
That is amazing.
It's spectacular. Rock pots are really my jam.
Yeah, this is interesting too.
Chinos, I'm really into chinos. I've been doing chinos for, I don't know, over 15 years. Chinos, this really, it's a different type of glaze. Chinos are naturally from Japan, but they put the soda ash in it, and the soda permeates the surface, and it's a flux, and so it creates this carbon trapping. So the carbon, if you fire it right, the carbon will fall and it'll stick to the surface. If you put it thick, it crawls. It can fall off the pot. This pot up there is a chino.
Like this
you can
one?
see the crawling on that. This is a chino pot, actually.
Oh, interesting. So they vary just depending on what you did.
It's depending on
the
different firing schedule. This is so interesting because you never know what's going to happen. It's like you open the kiln, so you can glaze the same pot side by side, and they'll be completely different.
Right.
Oh, there's a chino on the very corner. This is the happy mistake. It was a wheel throw pot, and it kind of fell, and it looked so cool. I'm like, man, I could turn that into a hanging pot. Yeah. This is the pot that can be three ways. You can either hang it with the hook.
Okay.
I also hang them with these wires.
Okay.
Or you can put it down flat.
I
so
see.
It depends on you. I have another one like that over here. So two happen like that. So this one.
Oh.
So this was a big bowl, and I messed it up, and I just folded it, and it fell down like that. And I'm like, man, that is cool.
Very unusual.
Yeah. So you can see the bottom was where it was round.
I see.
Right?
I see.
And so I just folded it over, and I'm like, you know what? That's the prototype. And I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to make smaller ones.
I can hear the amount of passion that is in your voice. I'm talking about this. You can tell.
I'm pretty stoked on pottery.
I can really
Every time I'm constantly trying. This is a brand new design. These two, brand new. These are my latest designs out of last kiln. You know, I've been seeing people do the drippy glaze.
The drip, yeah.
Instead of the drippy glaze, I'm doing the drippy pot.
Whoa! Look at this.
That's another one of the drippy glazes.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool. Look at how much drainage is in there.
Right? I'm in Ventura, it's 95% humidity. And so I have to make sure that these don't rot.
There's so much drainage in your pots, which is
Yep. I have
perfect.
I have an idea about like drainage with
Yeah, look at that.
with the holes.
It's like
So
10 holes on it.
I have another reason why I do that. So when stuff gets root bound, you want to be able to push
Yeah.
it in a circle and then one through the middle to get the pot out. So
I
it
like
takes a lot of
that.
time, but that's my thought process on
Yeah.
why. Some of them you can't. It's just like this is a weird shape, so this one probably only has two.
These two, yeah,
still
but it's big enough for you
big
to
enough.
like stick
And
your
I try
finger
to
in
do
it. Yeah.
every bottom of the pot I try to finish, so they all have feet.
Yeah.
They're all different styles of feet. Like the rock might even just have rocks.
Yeah.
Did you do? I got the rings.
The rings?
Yeah, these.
Oh yeah. These are very
Yeah,
interesting.
so they're all glaze tests. I have so many different glazes at home. I test them, and then if I have a cool result, then I can start put them on different pots.
You see that he has a lot of them hanging
I have a
up.
lot of different rings, all different
They're
styles,
all-
different textures.
So if folks want to purchase from you, do you have a website or just find you on Instagram or
I'm going to be doing the Huntington Gardens.
Okay.
I did that last year. That should be June 27th. That's
All
my
right.
next big show. Hopefully before that, I'm going to do one Palm Street instead.
keep an eye out for when you're up on Palm Street?
Yeah, keep an eye out for Palm. Follow my Instagram,
Okay,
at
perfect.
Xananda Arts.
I'll put all your
Yeah, it's
information
a little
below.
different. Here's my card.
Let me point it to
At
it.
Xananda with an
Yeah.
X.
Gotcha.
I'm
I want to
planning.
get some customer service over here.
I'm planning on coming back next year.
Oh, excellent.
I think that well
Okay.
enough. We're gonna
Awesome.
do it again. I don't know about Bill.
awesome.
but he's doing so well on Palm Street over there. So.
Bill, we know very well on this channel. Everybody knows Bill from Spines.n.clay.
Everybody knows Xananda too. We just need to get him on Palm Street soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's,
heard.
you know,
He said
it's-
that you're trying to convince him. All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you, Xananda. Prickly prospects.
All the plants first before we voted on the favorite plants.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
We are here with Prickly Prospects, which is Michel. I think some of my audience probably have seen you on Summer Rain Oaks' channel. She did a whole video interviewing you at your nursery, right? I think.
Yes, yeah, that was a few years ago. She was wonderful to work with. She had gotten the connection through her garden in Florida, and so she did.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, she did a whole trip around Tucson and
Yeah.
a little bit of Phoenix as well. Thanks to that connection there, I've gotten to know a lot more people. Really enjoyed it. Now hanging out at the Central Arizona sale. Frankly, it's one of the best shows I've been to.
Oh, that's so great.
There's a lot of the public here, and so I think the show really also brings attention to the general public about these plants and how there's an entire community
Yeah.
of people associated with them. They're not just things that you plop in the yard, and they bring people together.
And you are based out of Tucson, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in Tucson, and
Yeah.
I like having visitors. It's
Yeah.
by appointment only. but
Okay.
I'm really flexible.
Okay, so people can reach out to you. I'll put your Instagram information below. And I think you've got a website. I know you sell plants on a web store as well,
Yes,
right? So
yeah.
they can always look for any of your plants online.
Yeah, absolutely.
So of these plants that are here, did you grow most of these from seed?
Yes, either seed or cuttings. I very rarely do any sort of resale.
Okay.
I've started adding in some Stapeliads over here.
Okay, stinkies, I always call them.
Yes. I don't have flower pictures with them, which is
Yeah.
a little unfortunate. Those are really variable. Other than that, I'm conservation focused, so I tend to focus on species that are threatened in the wild and making them available for the general public. All these species have a nice little story associated with them, and I think that's one of the best ways to reach people is to tell those stories.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, is there any kind of genus or species or that you've been focused on recently?
Yes.
Would you say? Which ones would you say?
Pilosocereus has been one of my favorites, absolutely,
Okay.
and Mellow Cactus. So I got some of the rarer ones over there, but some of the species are first time in cultivation or really rare, and so I'm hoping to make those available a little wider. A lot of the variation in Pilosocereus people underappreciate, and they just think about Pachyclatus, the typical one.
Yes.
But there's a few that flower when they're that size, which is really amazing for Pilosocereus. And
Do you have an example of one of those
yeah,
here?
absolutely. We can take a look over here. One example.
Oh,
Hopefully I don't get
that's so beautiful. My goodness, that is beautiful.
But Posita baccatus flowers when it's relatively young. I've seen one plant at home that's flowered at this size, And so it's making that transition to adult, where initially it's not that blue, which is what we're used to from Pillocereus, but now it's starting to get to that phase.
So how old would you say that this plant is?
That one is about 2.5 years old, maybe 3. I'm not the fastest grower, so my substrate is pretty much pure mineral. So I don't get fantastic growth, but I do get high survival rates. So some plants are particularly interesting for not just what species they are, but their specific backstory of that clone. This is the Verocereus fernandiorum, which only occurs in one small area south of San Jose, Costa Rica. Verocereus is known for being epiphytic. This is the exception, where it's lithophytic and it grows on rocks. And so it's in the middle of like really dense forests of some rock outcrops, and this is a type clone. So it's material on which the species was described. So that's a really cool plant.
So something like this, do they do okay in our climate?
There's very few species of cactus that cannot make it in the Phoenix area or in southern Arizona.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Christmas cactus, those are pretty much impossible to do over here outside.
Indoors is okay, yeah.
Unless you have cats. And so, yeah, that's a bit of a problem for me.
Gotcha.
So, no plants inside my house.
So something like that Pillocereus that you just showed us, is the care the same as you would expect with Pillocereus in general? Maybe the Pachyclitis that we're so used to seeing all the time.
So what keeps a lot of people from growing some of these more exotic South American species, including Pillocereus and Cactus, is the advice that you find online of like, don't, oddly specific, don't let it drop below 59 degrees ever during winter. And that's advice that derives from Europe, from European growers where there's higher humidity. And so that corresponds exactly to 50 degrees centigrade. And so that's advice that works for them. For us, that is absolutely not the case. Most Pillocereus, most Cactus, just treat it like any other cactus. I pretty much treat all my plants the same. So same soil, same watering. Otherwise, it would take me an entire week to get through everything.
And it doesn't matter if it's South American or North American?
No, not really. There's very few exceptions that are a little bit more of like winter growers and so on. But still, like Cactus, for example, my friend Tristan Davis, who's helping me out, he has dozens of Cactus planted in his yard in Phoenix and flowering size without a problem. And so it's not something I can do in Tucson because it does get a little bit difficult, but we're still learning from these plants. There's a lot of myths and rumors associated with them, and
that's the thing, because I always say you can't find a book that has a one-size-fits-all care. Everything we hear about is anecdotal because it completely depends on you and your climate. Even if we both lived in Phoenix, my yard is would be different from your yard. So
absolutely,
it just depends, right? There's nothing that is just this works for everybody. No.
I have some plants over here. This is a little rare section over here that I've sold some to like people in Phoenix, and they've done an amazing job with it. Where my plants are still like half a foot tall, and theirs are like 5 or 6 feet tall with like multiple branches.
Right. There's no answer to that. I saw that there's this little tiny Echinocerius. Is it Schmollii?
Yeah.
It has the most delicate little flower bud on it.
It's got a really big taproot. You can tell that the pot is
it's deformed. Yeah.
So this will be a deep, deep pink. Hopefully, with the transport, it'll still open up. These are threatened in the wild, very much so. They're kind of hard to figure out how many there are because they tend to grow like others in the subgenus Walkowiak within little shrubs and bushes.
So you can't find them?
Unless they're in flower, they're really hard to find, like Arizona Queen of the Night, very similar in difficulty. These almost exclusively reproduce in the wild through pieces falling off. That kind of will lead to like inbreeding and so on.
That is so precious.
It's unusual for the kind of Ceres, for sure. That's one of my favorites. Then also, one thing that I brought that I'm really proud of are these, which are Stenocereus Benekii seedlings that don't look anything like the mature plants. So they're known for their really white farina, and they actually have Jeremy Mercado over here, who's Prickocereus on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And he is the owner of the widest Stenocereus bonekii in the world. He keeps his pristine. Doesn't top water it at all. I clearly do, but that's what the seedlings look like, and I'd never seen this
you
before.
can never even tell that that's the same plant. So that's an adult over there on the right, and these are babies.
Yeah. So
are they difficult to grow from seed?
No, they were
really.
actually. So the seedling leaves on them, the cotyledons, were the biggest cotyledons that I'd ever seen on a cactus, bigger than prickly pear ones. So it was really, really strange.
Interesting.
Really vigorous plants. I did not bring any copiapoo with me. If that's what you're looking for.
Nah, in this area, I don't know. I grew a bunch from seed, and there's still a bit of a mystery for this environment.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of seedlings last year. I made a mistake. Oh, you saw. I think I made a big mistake when it was too warm, but I don't know if that's really what was the cause. I don't know.
It's important to document that. People love to document their successes. Right?
Yeah.
It's knowing where things go wrong that maybe help us all put together that anecdotal information and come up with some potential hypotheses for what is going on. One thing so the nursery is a side business. I do research on climate change impacts on cacti, and I think it's starting to become more and more obvious to people in the Southwest here that the weather is also becoming more unpredictable in addition to being hotter and drier, and that unpredictability makes it really hard for us growers to figure out what's going on. I had a day of where it went down to 35 in the last week and a half in Tucson.
In Tucson?
Yeah,
wow, in March, huh?
Yeah, and I got some cold damage for sure.
I see.
But I had to take the plastic off because a couple days before that
it was too hot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring any of the dead things for
okay.
sale. Which,
why? I wonder why.
I would have easily been able to fill up the table. Don't worry about that. So.
See, even professional growers, it's a challenge, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't feel bad, audience, when you lose the plants, because we all do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the thing.
I've unfortunately had some big losses, and that's one of the reasons that we should spread these plants around. So I certainly had it happen where I've propagated something and passed it along to growers, and then it died for me, and I could go back to that person and be like, hey, you still have that? Could I buy a piece back from you?
Yeah.
And so help build community. Yeah, that's my favorite part about it. The plants are great, but getting to know people and their unique views on plants and so on, that's my favorite part.
Even better. That's awesome. My eyes are kind of gravitating. There's some plants there on the corner near us that have very yellow spines on them.
Yes.
Is that what I think it is? It is Coleocephalocereus aurea.
These specific plants are offspring from a couple stock plants that were passed along to me by a grower who's now passed away in Tucson.
Okay.
And he certainly was a really big influence in getting me into Brazilian species, just like my friend Tristan over here. So they're very meaningful to me for that reason. And even within a single batch, you get quite a bit of variation in spination.
Yeah.
So why are these so popular?
Yeah.
Well, when they grow up, they form what's called a pseudocephalium.
Yes.
So they get really furry on the side, as you know. And then little yellow flowers pop out. The sister species is called Prickocereus, and the flowers there are purple. Other than that, the plants look pretty much identical.
So this plant I first saw at B&B Cactus Farm.
Mm-hmm.
They have, I think, they're miniature plants. I'll put a picture or a video of folks on this channel know, because I go ooh and ah at it every single time. And I'm like, what is this? And somebody identified it in the comments.
Yeah.
They stay miniature, right? And as you said, they grow I guess you call it a pseudocephalium on the side of the plant.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, what the difference is between a cephalium and a pseudocephalium, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an actual botanical difference. We associate cephalium with disco cactus and mellow cactus, and pseudocephalium and everything else. But
is it because of where it grows on the plant by any chance?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be. I don't want to spread misinformation.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I don't know for sure.
Maybe, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Do you find them to be fast or slow growers, or kind of medium?
They're not particularly slow.
Okay.
So I'll pull a couple other species here, or 3 others that I have on me. Aureus.
Oh, they're also coleo. Okay.
Yes, so these two are much rarer in cultivation. So Fluminensis and this one is Xercianus over here. And then there's also Gubelianus. This one to me is the slowest growing one. It also doesn't really look like a Coleocephalus.
Okay.
And so when we think of that genus, we always think about Arraeus. You know, the other ones look a little bit different. The only thing that well, I'm sure there's other aspects, but the pseudocephalium is really what they have in common. And unfortunately, like a lot of Brazilian species, they're very threatened. Often very small populations, habitat destruction, illegal collection in some cases. I do love those. I certainly have a love for Brazilian plants.
So the Arraeus I know is supposed to be small, like they stay within, I forgot, within 2 feet or 18 inches or something like that.
It varies a little bit by, there have been some varieties and synonyms described of Coleocephalus, and some populations get quite a bit bigger, some populations stay really small.
Okay.
So I think there's one that's often called Beningia brevicylinder.
Yes. But are they different or are they the same, or who knows? Yeah.
I don't think anyone's done a DNA study on that one. So
you have some Echinocactus horizontaloneus here.
Glad you asked.
I know that those are very slow growing. I know that there are many of these that are removed from Texas and are sold at nurseries all over town.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
from like land developers.
what happens a lot of the time, so with horizontaloneus, people say that they're impossible to grow from seed sometimes, or that they're really, really slow.
Yes.
It's not the case.
That's not true?
And they can be hard to germinate, but once they're once they're going, they're fine, and they look exactly like the big plants.
They're
smaller.
really beautiful.
Yeah, and so I much
gorgeous.
prefer this over the bigger plants.
Yeah.
Because you have the joy of growing it, and it's unethical. So even though a lot of the wild collection of horizontaloneus in the wild in Texas is legal, it is landowners' rights to do so, there's a few questions that you can ask. How do you know that they were collected from private land? How do you know they weren't collected from public land? And people just say that it's private land. Two, there's the argument that they're being sold from those ranches because they were going to be destroyed otherwise anyway, to clear for cattle. But my counter argument would be aren't we just driving that demand to commercialize them by buying those plants? It's kind of like going to a pet store that sells puppies, like a puppy mill, and being like, okay, these are not treated very well. I'm still gonna get that puppy because it's not the puppy's fault. And that's correct, but you're still encouraging and increasing that trade, which is sad to me. Watching them grow is just a lot more fun.
Would you consider these seedlings at this point? How old are they? Do you know?
Those probably are a couple years old.
A couple years. Okay, that's not bad. That is not bad for a cactus. I wouldn't consider that slow growing in the cactus world.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Yeah, it's between 2 and 3.
Yeah,
I would
that's
say.
not bad.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And again, they're not that difficult. Hopefully, people will buy less and less of the big wild harvest ones.
Yeah, I actually find that the seedlings are a lot harder to find around town.
Absolutely.
You see the big ones more often.
Yeah.
The seeds on these guys.
Yeah.
They're very. I've heard that you need to score them or you have to treat them with acid. They're fairly larger seeds, kind of in a cactus land, but they have a really thick shell around it that I heard has made it difficult to germinate.
Yes, and so that's true for a few different cactus species. So there's a few solutions. One is like acid scarification. Another one would be like cycling temperatures and so on that might break dormancy.
Okay.
Or just patience.
Just wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, scarification is another one where there's a lot of theories in cultivation about, and nobody's actually formally figured it out in a way that applies to all cacti. There's definitely research studies on it, but they're often about a single species, and the method of scarification seems to vary quite a bit between different species. But acid's a good one. A person that's really experienced on this front is Rob Romero. Yeah,
the famous Rob Romero. Yeah,
famous Rob Romero. we miss him dearly in Arizona.
I know he's at Mesa Garden, right? He's in New Mexico.
Yeah, he's back to New Mexico.
Yeah.
But he knows so much about this.
What is your method then to get them to germinate?
patience.
Just patience, okay.
The only scarifying I do is sometimes with Pedicocactus, where I'll go in with a little needle. There's a good video on YouTube about how to germinate Pedicocactus. It's called Germinating Pedicocactus.
Okay.
And so you just pretty much stick a needle on a particular pointy end of the seed, chipping at the hilum, I believe it's called. That increases germination percentage.
Interesting.
By like up to like 90%.
Okay.
You know, sometimes with Dephrecactus too, I've germinated the same seeds, 2 different dates, same source, same mother plants, and so on. In one, without any sort of treatment. In one case, I had no germination up until a year later. In the other one, they just germinated just fine within the first week, which is unusual for Dephrecactus.
So once again, like you mentioned, it's all over the place. You're just encouraging folks, forget about what you hear, just try it.
Yeah.
If you can, try it. You don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the ways that we get all these cool species available in cultivation is by growing from seed.
I mean, and it's just this little tiny space is probably, 2 feet by 2.5 feet. Look at how many different kinds of plants are here.
Mm-hmm. There were more.
Oh, I know. This is so cool. Thank you so much, Michel. It's really good chatting with you. Thank you so much. This is Prickocereus. They're already starting to pack up. Is this one for sale or on display? That's what I figured.
No,
that's amazing.
That's CSD. You can look it up.
What is it?
Prickocereus CSD.
CSD. Okay. This is not for sale. We are back inside Dorrance Hall doing our final walkthrough just before the show closes. Myself and I can see some other folks are kind of waiting around for the moment that they call the end of the show so we can pick up our plants. I hope you all enjoyed the show and the sale. I did my best with the sale. I know that the microphone situation wasn't the best, but hopefully you can hear most of what my interviewees are saying. A little bit of a different style than the past couple of years, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let's go see if we can find an exhibitor to talk to, and then we'll take off and head home to Cookie. Hey everybody, I've got a YouTube viewer of Cookie's Cacti, Rich here. So Rich, you won one of the giveaways from my 7-hour video on repotting
I had absolutely nothing to do that day, and I thought I'd sit on the couch. I didn't feel like moving, and I turned on YouTube, and I saw it was just the start of your video, and I said, I might have a chance. So I gave it a shot, and I was shocked that I actually won something. So
that is so awesome, and the crazy part is that that pot is in this show.
That's right.
Let's walk over there and show them real quick. It is this beautiful Turbinate-Carpus Lowy, and it got a blue ribbon.
That's right, and I'm sure if it was just in a regular Home Depot pot, it would have got nothing.
This is the pot by Orcutti Putty. Shout out to Orcutti Putty.
It's good that only 2 people were in this category.
Yeah, that's great. Oh,
yeah.
I have one plant that got 1 out of 1. There's only one plant. So Rich, you joined the CACSS recently?
Yeah, in late December.
Just late December, and this is your first show in entering plants.
Right.
Did you have any reservations or nervousness in joining? Not at all.
This is just for fun, so no pressure at all, you know. And plus, I think a big thing is to look at your plants when you know they're going to be in a show, because sometimes they might be blooming, and that's the best chance I think.
Oh, nice tip. Very good tip.
One I didn't even consider putting in, I put in a Xananda Cactus, and it's in bloom right now. It's right over there, and it got a blue ribbon also.
Wait, let's take a look at it. Oh, this is yours. Yeah. This is a Phylacanthus, which is one of my favorites. I love the way their spines grow.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that.
And I watched your video with the man who...
Cliff.
Is it
with Cliff?
Yeah. And he said to put like green magic markers.
Did you do that?
And I did that on that. So
see, it works.
Yeah. It didn't hurt, so, you know.
Yeah. So everybody take it from Rich. Like if anybody has for next year some reservations about participating, if they think that their plant's not good enough or thinking that they're not, I don't know, they're not ready, what would you say?
Even if you lose, it doesn't matter. It's just fun, and you know, as long as it looks nice to you, you put it in a show. Chances are other people are going to like it too. So.
I totally agree. Well, thank you so much, Rich, for chatting with us.
Thanks, Jen.
Congratulations. And that's a wrap. The 2025 CACSS show and sale is over. Time to pick up our plants and go home to Cookie. Happy growing, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye. You did good this year. Yeah, are you proud? Oh, hard boss to please, I tell you. How did Cookie's cacti do this year? We ended up with 10 entries into this year's show. Of the 10 entries, we took home 9 ribbons, and I guess you can say a 10th if we include the judge's choice. So one plant, the white rhino, didn't go home with any ribbons. 2 of the plants got honorable mention. Then we went home with 1 third place plant, which was the Eriocarpus retusus trifinger, but it ended up getting judge's choice. And the judge who picked this plant was Miles Anderson of Miles to Go. So that is pretty special, and we got this giant ribbon. And then we ended up taking home 6 blue ribbon first place entries, which is awesome. This takes my blue ribbon count total to 10, which means that next year we will be moving into the intermediate level. Hope you all enjoyed the show and sale this year. Happy growing, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.